Alright, here's another RV trailer modification. Cranking this thing up and down sucks. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Especially whenever you're like unhooking, because then you gotta put the leg down, jack the trailer the whole way up, take the tension off for the load distributing hitch, disconnect your bars, then drop this thing back down to undo the pin, to lift it back up off, and then to level it. You might have to move back up and down again. So it's a lot of up and down motion. So what I'm hoping is to put this guy on, and from now on just push a button when I want it to go up and down. The Holland Master electric jack, 3,500 pound jack. Yes, this is a 10,000 pound camper, but only 10% of your weight should be resting on the tongue. The majority of that weight should be on those. So with only 10% of the weight on the tongue, on most given times, that's 1,000 pounds. So this 3,500 pound lift jack should be enough. Alright, we'll start with the unboxing, and we'll move on. I did pick this one up. I did not have it mail delivered, so I picked it up off a shelf. Let's see what you got inside. Oops. Got a couple rocks on there. The wife's gonna be mad at me. We just got done cleaning these up, but I figured it'd be easier to kneel on the rug. Anyway, where's the... There we go. And there it is. Seems to be reasonably in good shape. I believe that's a fused link. Where'd that knife go? Universal adapt mounter plate, and that whatcha-higgy, in case you lose power you can still crank it up and down. Nope. I think it goes in here. Yep, right there. It all seems pretty sturdily built, at least as sturdy as the old one. And let's get to throwing it in. It comes with all new hardware, but make sure you put one of those under the head of each bolt. Now, these are nutted. I do notice that. However, my trailer is tapped, drilled and tapped. I might still put the nuts on the back side. Oh, excuse me. There you go. See the threads in there. The hardest part about this so far has been making sure I didn't break those off in the tapped holes. Alright, here we go. Alright, that went pretty straightforward. I put the washers at the top. The flat washers were too big to fit in between my bolt holes in this well, but if you think about it, the bolt on this side is actually only holding like the jack in place. It's the threads underneath that are getting pulled, and since this was drilled and tapped, the one thing I didn't realize, I did put the nuts on these two, this one and the one across from it, but I can't put a nut on this one because the bottom part here, I don't know if you can see it, it's boxed in. So there's no way to get a nut on this one. That's why my washers are on the top too instead of the bottom, because these aren't through holes. But anyway, I undid. I gotta run my power wire, which I plan on running back to that junction back there. I got another video on me fixing my emergency brake disconnect. If you want to see inside the junction box, I'm going to wire it right into where the emergency brake disconnect was. Okay, thank you. And let's see what we can get done. Okay. Well, now, let's see. Does it work? Ooh, those are nice. I do like those lights. Those LED lights are actually pretty cool. Anyway. Now the big one will... It's moving. It's doing... Oh. It's coming up. Wow, this thing's got some height on it. I think I would have been out on the old one. That old one. Holy crap. It's still going. I might have to stop using cinder bricks. We are a considerable way off that jack stand. It's still going. Oh, that's it. That is some considerable height. Alright, well, so it winds back in, which it seems to. Oh, I'm gonna put it all the way down. I want to take that jack stand inside. Yeah, I don't think I'm using cinder bricks anymore. Alright, that's good enough. Anyway, in review, here's what I liked about it. That took about 20 minutes to install, honestly, from start to finish. I didn't even use any butt connectors. I just, well, it's wire nutted in there. That's the way campers are, or at least this camper is. The only thing I don't like is this. I know, it's a fuse. I should have used it. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my Napa and I'm going to get a regular bladed fuse, because you can still buy those. These cartridge type fuses, like that, are harder to find, and more than likely, oops, my tow vehicle isn't going to have any. Like if I did blow one, didn't have a spare, and I needed to rob, you know, my radio or something, which honestly ain't that big of a deal. But I will be visiting my local auto parts store to steal one. But other than that, it wasn't bad. So I'm going to say this is the GSE shop, signing off. Alright, when I left off with this, I told you that I wasn't going to use the, I don't know what you call it, the tin can kind of fuse that came with the kit, because, well, I think they're hard to find anymore, and I just really don't like them. And I was going to go with an automotive style blade fuse, but then I got to thinking about it more, and what I think I'm going to go with is one of these here circuit breakers. And what's nice is these are an automatic trip, automatic reset, so if I do have a short, and this thing trips, I can find the short, fix it, and not have to buy anything else. It just works again. It'll automatically reset itself once the ground fault's gone away. And I think I'm gonna mount the sucker right there with a couple zip ties. Oops, I dropped it. But the reason I'm putting it here is so I don't have to search for it if I do have a problem. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go over that here with you in a minute. If you're going to be doing very much electrical work, I highly recommend getting a set of dedicated crimper pliers, as well as a designated set of wire strippers. These pull strip ones are really good for automotive wires that have all those extra strands in them. But anyway, you want to take maybe 1/4 inch off of each side. That's a little less than 1/4. There we go. Anyway. Then we're going to want to take your bus circuit breaker. Then you're going to find out what size ring terminal fits. You want one that fits kind of snug, but not too loose. You don't want one too overly big. See if I have an example of that here. I don't have one too overly big, but I do have one that might have been too small. See, I almost got to thread that one on. You don't want to have to force it. Then you're going to figure out your wire size. The color of the crimped on connector is what tells you what size wire it's for. I like to give these strands just a little twist too. Helps them stick together. I'm guessing it's yellow. Well, yellow is actually a little loose. Let's go to a blue. Let's see if blue is there. Blue is nice and tight. Yeah. Let me see here. See how it just pokes through and fills the connector the whole way? That's what you're looking for. Okay, and my one little trick here is those weather tight connectors can get kind of expensive, so I keep a lot of lot of the shrink wrap around. You don't need much. Okay, but I put that down over the wire first. Down like that. I'll put my connector on. And then with my dedicated pliers, I got this nice little locking tab. Put them in there. And with the raised part almost directly over the crease, zoom back out. You're going to want to crimp it. Basically until it gives it up. Now you got a good, solid, tight connection. That will take our little piece of shrink wrap tube. Slide it on over. Oops, I heated up just a little bit too much. And there, got a nice weather-tight connection. Do the same here in the top one in real time. Once again, squeeze the dickens out of it. And I forgot to put my shrink wrap on, but hopefully that's okay. We don't have to do this again if I can get it back over. Oh, look at that. Like I planned it. And that's basically that. Now we're ready for our circuit breaker. I'm not going to show you how to wire up, attach two nuts. It doesn't matter which side's which. Current just travels across it. So there's no hot and cold. They're both, well, technically hot sides. Alright. Alright, final check. I think we're done. Alright, recap. This is my electric jack. And just to touch on one other point, I did finally add some good hardened washers. After giving it some thought, I decided that those star-headed washers are great for electrical conductivity, but they don't help hold the jack up any. And this bolt right now is pulling down through this plate on the jack, so you want something there to give it some shoulder, and that works pretty good. This is just holding my plug on because I don't know, it works, that's why. But once again, 40 amp circuit breaker and a light on both sides, and I will give this another review in a few months. I'll let you know how it works out, maybe after a trip or two. But for right now, I'm going to call this project done and move on to the next one.